Good evening. I'd like to call the City of Twinsburg regular council meeting of June 8th, 2021 to order. The time is 7:30 p.m. We are in the Twinsburg Government Center Council Chamber. The meeting is also streaming live on the city's YouTube channel. Shannon, please call the roll.
Ms. McPherson?
Here.
Mr. Scafidi?
Here.
Mr. Bellin?
Here.
Mrs. Walker?
Present.
Mr. Fury?
Here.
Mrs. Stauffer?
Here.
Mr. Barr?
Here.
At this time, Mr. Barr will lead us in the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to go closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace as we make decisions that affect all of our residents and businesses and our dedicated city employees. Bless those away from us serving to protect our country. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes of the regular council meeting of May 25th, 2021?
Yes.
Yes.
Quick question. Mr. Maestros, I was not here. I did read the minutes. Should I not vote on this or?
You can just, you can just abstain.
Okay.
That'd be appropriate.
Make a motion that we accept the minutes as submitted. I'll second.
Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mrs. Stauffer?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Abstain.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Ms. McPherson?
Yes. So does that mean that the minutes are approved 6-0?
Correct.
Or do we have any awards or presentations this evening? There are none. Do we have any audience participation?
Yes. First, we have Chuck Bonacci.
Just a reminder to everyone that council rules allow for 5 minutes per person. I know you know, but we have some guests.
Do I still say my address and everything?
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening. Chuck Bonacci, 11327 Heritage Drive in the great city of Twinsburg, Ohio. Council, mayor, law director, finance director, and clerk council. Those watching at home, I'd like to give an update about something great that happened in the city this past weekend. We had an environmental call to action, an e-waste recycling event. Years ago, the Environmental Commission asked for this kind of event, and it just wasn't feasible at that time. But fast forward to this year, and successes that were in Hudson, kind of leveraged by our state representative, Casey Weinstein, brought forth an idea that these kind of things can happen. And Ben from the Summit E-Waste reached out to our city and was able to coordinate an e-waste recycling. And what e-waste recycling is basically recycling of anything that has a plug on it. If it had a cord and a plug, it was able to be recycled. And this company came in with a couple trucks and collected old TVs, computer monitors, computers. The data on the hard drives was shredded on site to help with identity theft and protection, and all done by this vendor, this company. And then he's going to take it back to his warehouse, distribute it, deconstruct these things, recycle the plastics, pull out the precious metals, recycle all that stuff. And it's one less, actually, it was a truckload, a trailer load, and a half a truckload of stuff not going into a landfill. So it was literally a couple tons of material not going into the trash. So thanks to the city for allowing this to happen. Thanks to our service department for having their guys there, because it was a lot of heavy lifting. Those old school CRT monitors, they're heavy. I even brought one in. It was an old school eMac that I bought in 2002 when the iPod first came out. And it was a way to get the iPod to work before they plugged into the other types of computers. Since then, I've been a Mac user, but unfortunately, Apple seems to phase out their stuff every 10 years. And I wasn't smart enough to get rid of it when it still had value. And I didn't want to throw it away. So I was able to recycle it. So that was awesome. So we filled the truck. We had other members of our environmental commission there. We had the service department helping us, and lots of stuff diverted from the landfill, going to get reused, going to get recycled, and it was a great event. Moving forward to June 12th at the Service Department. The Environmental Commission in the city of Twinsburg's hosting a document shredding event. The cool thing about the document shredding is not only are we helping folks get rid of items that have personal identifiable information. We're not going to shred newspapers and magazines. We're looking to shred stuff that has things that evildoers could do to steal your identity and that kind of stuff. And that material gets recycled. So sure, we have a curbside recycling program, but that's not exactly where you probably want to put your bank statements and that kind of stuff if you don't have a shredder at home. Plus, the shredded material can't go into the regular recycling because it's too small for their sorters. So this type of event, which this year I suspect or project is going to be big because we had to cancel last year because of the COVID stuff. So get there early. We're scheduled from 9 to noon, or when the truck fills up, and we've been known to fill the truck up early in the past, and I've had to turn people away, including my mom. So I have. I turned away a councilman too. So if you're not there, get there early to get this stuff taken care of and get, make certain that folks are getting their sensitive information shredded, and it's going to get recycled. So that's what the Environmental Commission's been up to in the city, and Mayor, thanks for allowing that company to come in and do the e-waste, because I know we talked when you first were elected about doing e-waste, and it just wasn't something that could happen. And I'm beyond excited that it happened. And we had 231 folks come through and drop off stuff. That's a lot of folks there. You were there for a little bit. The line was ruined. And the way they took apart the computers and shredded the hard drives right on site, it was a nifty day. So thank you.
Thanks, Chuck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, we have Sue Clark.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, Mr. Maestros. Sue Clark, 9845 Crestwood Drive. At the last council meeting, I spoke about a councilman targeting residents. I have no problem if he would like to use his opinion on information that he believes is wrong. What I do have an issue with is he spent more time discriminating against residents than he did the misinformation. Once again, this was a premeditated attack on residents. I would like to know what procedures council has come up with since the last meeting, so this does not keep happening to residents. This is discrimination, bullying, and I cannot believe that all of you condone this type of behavior. I keep asking, can we please get something written? Madam Council President, ex-Council President, please. Please.
That's all we have this evening.
Moving on to council communication and committee reports. None of my committees have met, but I do have something to share. Life changes and new opportunities arise, and so at this time I'm going to be putting in my resignation for City Council Ward 3 effective next week, June 15th. I have a great opportunity to pursue a new business venture with Berkshire Hathaway in Florida, and also maintaining my business up here. I have to say that it was an honor and a privilege to serve our city and my ward. And I also have to add, it was a lot of work. So with that, some of my past clients have said it's easy to find another house when they move, but it's really hard to find another Twinsburg. We have a great city, and I just want to thank you all. Okay, moving on to Maureen.
Well, part of my report, Joanne, if you would stand up, please.
Oh.
I just want to, it's customary for us to give a plaque to our outgoing council president. And Joanne, I just want to say that, you've been really a great addition to City Council. And I know you've worked very hard for all of your residents, and I believe they all appreciate it, and so do we. We appreciate everything that you've done. We wish you the best of luck in your new adventure and in your new opportunity. And I know you're going to do great there like you did up here. I know that girl's going to sell just as hard in Florida. So with that said, we wish you the best of luck. We're going to miss you, and here's your plaque. Thank you very much.
Now, Maureen. I didn't know.
Yeah. Well, So my, wow, just moving right on to committee reports. Okay, so it's a big changes here. It's crazy. Anyway, ARB met on June 3rd here in council chambers. The first case was 210649. It was 9790 East Idlewood Drive, and it's a porch addition by the homeowner. It was approved as noted. Case 210650, that was at 3536 Cannon Road, a pavilion, also by the homeowner, and that was also approved as noted. 210651, 8901 Haddon Road, the Get-Go sign, that was, this was actually, yeah, the Get-Go sign, it's gonna be Wet-Go. That was approved as submitted. My next meetings, I will have the CIC meeting on June 15th at 5 o'clock here in council chambers. The JEDI meeting will meet on June 14th at 6 o'clock here in council chambers. ARB, June 17th at 6 o'clock here in council chambers. And the Comprehensive Planning Committee meeting will meet on June 24th, 6 o'clock. So that's all I have for tonight.
That's all.
That's it.
Okay, Mr. Fury.
Good evening. None of my committees have met in the last week. I did attend a finance committee earlier this evening. I will also be attending the CIC Tuesday the 15th at 5 p.m. and the comprehensive plan, which is working on a plan of sustainability for the city of Twinsburg, will be meeting on 6/24 in council chambers. Both the CIC meeting and the comprehensive plan are public meetings available to attend if you'd like. So we had a survey last year, and the top 3 responses from the over 1,100 residents that were surveyed, they had questions about our city finances. They had questions about false information on Facebook and communicating with residents. So the city has worked very hard over the last year, always works hard over on finances, but we've done reductions in force, we've done additional efficiencies, we've had retirements that have lowered the cost of some of our employment costs. And per the most recent statement of cash, we are planning on ending with a cash balance in the general fund of $11,219,000. As of 4/30, we had $26,679,000 on cash. As far as communicating with the residents, we've updated multiple websites for the seniors, for the CIC, for the Park and Recs, the city as a whole. We're working very hard to make sure that all the agendas and information is posted on there. There was a water break today. I would be surprised if those of you in the audience didn't get a text, a voicemail, and possibly even posts on Facebook from the city site to let you know about something that happened quickly to get that information out to you. So we're continuing to work on communication. But tonight we're going to talk about false information on Facebook, because some of the communication and the finance questions that came up had to do with false information being posted by people on sites. So tonight we're going to talk about the Twinsburg Improvement Corporation. It is a function of the city that is set up, and we're going to tell you how we did that. But some of the information that you might have heard from the Twinsburg Roundtable would be that it's a way to hide things, a secret society, legalized corruption, no transparency, closed meetings to the public, monies in secret in collusion, but have stepped up. Well, we're going to skip that one. The second post was it's legalized corruption and working with secret deals with
I'm sorry,
developers.
you're not allowed to speak. You're not allowed to speak.
You have no point.
You,
I have a point of order. Are you going to address my point
you
of order
don't,
here?
no. You just need to sit down or you'll be asked to
This
leave.
is more than
The
bullying
third-
and intimidation.
Excuse me, you're not allowed to speak. We can have you removed.
I asked for a point of order.
You're not to call a point of order. Is that
There
correct?
also-
We don't go by Robert's Rules of Order.
There were also posted that there were CIC.
Sit
lines.
down.
That's enough.
Is that a no? That we
Yeah.
don't go by Robert's Rules of Order?
No, that's not what we go by.
You need
That's
to
not
sit-
a rule. That, no.
We go by
Would you
Robert's
like us
Rules
to
of
have you
Order.
You do
removed?
not have the floor.
I was trying to make a point of order. This is just
No, you're just
more
making a
intimidation
circus
and
out of the
bullying
meeting.
That has nothing to do with our.
I'm
system.
sorry, you're asked to sit down. Or we can have you removed.
Elaborate
That could press.
and elaborate
It would.
and elaborate the CICs against our charter and zoning codes, abuse of power in government. So let's look and see what really goes on with our CIC. Oops. So what you're seeing there is the statements from the state of Ohio. And it talks about that CICs were incorporated in 1965 and that there are over 300 CICs in the state of Ohio. And CICs are established by filing articles of incorporation with the Secretary of State. Here is the article of certification that we have that was signed in 2013 after we discussed creating a CIC for probably 5 years. About 5 years, Sam? I think that before we did that? Yeah. So we're state certified. We filed the the 503C paperwork, and here's a letter from Mike DeWine. At that time, he was the Attorney General, but this time now he's the governor. And this is a letter saying that their office concludes that the language is not inconsistent with the Constitution and laws of the United States, the Constitution and laws of the state of Ohio, and according to the Articles of Incorporation, are approved by this office. So there is no corruption. We are recognized by the state. We have filed the proper tax exempt status paperwork. And we're going to tell you now how to find the information so that you can check this information for yourself. Okay, this is what the website looks like when you first jump on there. And if you want to see our goals or our charter, it's to basically be an economic development wing of the city. The board members are clearly marked here. They are not secret board members. Those are members of the community, representing the school, local businesses, and all the board members are unpaid. Nobody gets a salary to be on the CIC. You're seeing now a part of the ad that we put out to see about getting additional people to look at the downtown development. And that's how you would find after this ends, you'll see how to get to all the minutes and agendas are loaded on this website. Thanks, Mark, for taking it back. Okay, so one of the major things we're doing with the CIC currently is we're working on the downtown redevelopment. That's the biggest deal that we have been working on since its inception. The downtown redevelopment includes the property that the city owns as well as some private property owners who have already agreed to work with us on how to sell as a group. And what we're looking for is primarily residential, mixed use with commercial construction so that we can get a walkable downtown and people can live downtown and take advantage of the areas that are there. And we expect to have additional restaurants and shops. This is a copy of not the bid, but the RFQ that we had sent out. So talks about Twinsburg, tells how we want to keep the character of the downtown in a Western Reserve style. But we have two people right now that we're interviewing so that we could move forward. One is Nice, and the other is Heritage Development. And again, we're looking for sustainability and increasing the walkability and population in the downtown area. Twinsburg's almost built out, so the downtown, to make it vital and keep our residents giving additional options to downsize, as well as have places to shop and take advantage of the businesses in the downtown area, are very important to us. And that's the main thing that the CIC does. Again, they're public meetings. We're audited by outside audit firms. There's statements of our finances on the website. There is no secrecy, and it's simply a tool that we use along with 300 other communities in the state of Ohio to help Twinsburg prosper. And that's all I have tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Barr.
Good evening, thank you. Since our last meeting, none of my committees have met. The Planning Commission, the next meeting is scheduled for June 21st at 7 p.m. here in Council Chambers. Unfortunately, I'm going to be out of town for that meeting, but I believe Mr. Fury has agreed to
Yes, I'm going to have
attend in my absence. With that said, I will also be unable to attend the meeting on the 22nd. I attended this evening's Finance Committee. We'll let the Chair of Finance report on that. And that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Mr. Skippy.
Thank you very much. Good evening. As Mr. Barr said, tonight we had a Finance Committee meeting. It was probably one of the shortest ones I've ever attended. And there were just a couple things on the agenda that our Finance Director apprised us of. First was the 2021 tax year and the 2022 collection year tax budget. She gave us a little briefing on that. And then she also discussed the work from home withholding legislative update. She gave us an update on what's going on with the work from home and the monies that we will be receiving. So other than that, the meeting was pretty quick, and I don't want to belabor all that. So that was the end of the Finance Committee meeting. The next meeting will be on August 24th at 6 o'clock here in the Council Chambers. One thing I want to talk about tonight, I'm a little disappointed that I don't see a representative here from Waste Management. I don't know about any other ward, and I don't know about the rest of the city, but I know what's going on in Ward 1. In Ward 1, I've had complaints for at least a year on the service that we're receiving from Waste Management. It's been less than acceptable, okay? My colleagues, I don't know what's going on in their wards, and again, at this point, I have to take care of Ward 1, and I have to defend what's going on there. I've got several emails or messages from a resident, and it seems to be always the same area. I'm not saying it's all over, so I'm not looking to blow this thing out of proportion, but it's always the same area in the ward, that they don't get their trash collected. And I could, if we want, I could read all of these. It's a whole year's worth of messages that I've received. And I think for a company that we pay $1.4 million for on a rubbish contract, Twinsburg deserves a little priority. We deserve a little more service than what we're getting. And I believe that the fact that the representative is not here tonight is just representative of the service that we're getting from this company called Waste Management. Now, you're going to hear things about COVID and everything else. Well, everybody in this room, I'm sure, knows that I'm a service director in another community. I deal with another rubbish company, okay? It's not Waste Management. And COVID had nothing to do with my service there. COVID had, the service there is spot on, week after week. Granted, it's a village, it's not a big city like this, but it doesn't matter. You're dealing with billion-dollar companies here that are getting paid over $1.4 million from our city to provide us a service. And in my opinion, in Ward 1, we're not getting our money's worth, okay? And I believe that needs to change, and I just wanted to talk to the man. Unfortunately, he's not here. He knew I wanted to talk to him, never reached out to me. Nobody's reached out to me. And I've asked this probably a week ago or a week and a half ago to our Public Works Director. I think that everybody in this room needs a little bit more response from that company, considering what we're paying. and I'm gonna say it right here and now publicly, the next time that contract comes up here in Twinsburg, I will not support this company. Enough is enough. This man goes on to tell me he texted us one day and said that his garbage was missed. I tell him that they said they're gonna get it the next day. 12:30, the next day, I get another text. He said, Sam, they haven't come yet, okay? You would think that if they miss us on Tuesday, Wednesday morning, we would be the first one picked up. Not the case. It's not the case. At 12:30, he's still looking to have his trash picked up. Some of his neighbors pull it back in their garages already because they don't know if they're coming or not, and they don't want to leave it out there. It's unsightly. So I don't believe. I don't know why. I have no explanation, and that's what I was hoping to get. That's what I was hoping to get, and I get nothing out of it. So I just think it's unfortunate. I want the residents of Ward 1 to know, and I'm gonna call this resident and let him know that I sat here tonight on his behalf and on behalf of everybody else in Ward 1 to say that we are demanding better trash collection service. He tells me after his trash was picked up, he says, come and look at the neighborhood. There's garbage all over the place. And I've told Mr. Crawford time and time again when he's been here, have them they come and they empty the containers and set them down in the middle of your driveway. So when you come home, you gotta get out of the car and you gotta move your can over. Why can't they put them back where they're picking them up from, okay? But that doesn't seem to matter. Okay, they continue to put them where they want to put them, and we're getting. I've actually witnessed this at my house. They'll come by, the recycle guy will come by, and a big thing of cardboard will fall out of his truck somewhere. The next guy comes by and he picks up his little can, looks at it, and keeps going. They need to work together. They need to clean up after each other. This isn't our mess. This is Twinsburg. Okay, we don't live that way. We expect better service for our tax dollar. And that's all I'm saying. That's what I expect. I expect a better level of service. And I don't really care what their excuses are. I'm done with excuses. Over a year of messages have gone by, and I'm done hearing excuses. That's all I got to say. I'm out of it, unless something comes up that I need to respond to.
Mrs. Walker.
Good evening, everyone. I did attend the finance meeting just before our caucus and council meeting. Also on May 27th, I attended the comprehension plan update meeting, and I have to say Larry Finch did a phenomenal job. Keep up the good work, Larry. On June 6th, I volunteered with Chuck Bonacci, and it was the Summit E-Waste event from 12 noon to 4 p.m. And it was a great event. I think you said over 230 cars came. The mayor was there. Chief Nogo was there. There was a lot of Twinsburgers that were there too. So a shout out to the ones who came and took advantage of this e-waste that we had on this past Sunday. Also, I did receive an email from Laura from the Twinsburg Senior Center and regarding the weekly news, the weekly updates, and I called Laura and I said, you know, this is some really good information. Can I share it with the public? She goes, yes, Daisy, you can say this and this and this. And I said, okay. So anyway, on June 15th at 10 a.m., there's coffee and pastry on the patio sponsored by Panera. So that's on Tuesday. And this is a weekly Tuesday event. And on June 22nd, which is a Tuesday at 12:30, there will be a birthday party sponsored by the Avenue in Aurora, and that will be held at the Twinsburg Senior Center. On Tuesday, June 29th, support your local businesses and order lunch from Michael's Cafe. And that event will be held, as I stated, June 29th. That's on a Tuesday. And also, Jennifer is back in business doing seniors, driving seniors to various appointments. Transportation is provided Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4 p.m. And there's a number to call, 330-963-8722, to schedule your ride. Also, I did attend yesterday our JEDI meeting regarding employment diversity subcommittee, and we're still working on some information. So there's more to share at our next meeting. I think it'll be in August. That's all I have. Thank you.
Mr. Bell.
Good evening, thank you. I attended this evening's Finance Committee meeting that Mr. Scafidi spoke about. The next meeting of the full Jedi Committee will be on Monday, June 14th at 6 p.m. here in Council Chambers. The Jedi Committee Outreach Committee will meet on Monday, June 21st at 6 p.m. also here in Chambers. The Board of Zoning Appeals is scheduled to meet on Wednesday, June 23rd at 6:30 p.m. here in Council Chambers. And this Saturday, June 12th at 9 a.m., I will be attending the dedication of the memorial for Mayor Caravan at Liberty Park. I have nothing further this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, do you have?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Just a lot of things going on around town. We're in full summer mode now. It's actually nice to be able to know that we're going to go to a Rock the Park concert this Friday, and that kids are running around the pool screaming. I'm probably taking part of Jen's report, but it is exciting times. We've got camping full go right now, which is great. We have a duathlon this Sunday, so a lot of good things happening around Twinsburg. It's starting to feel a little bit more like normal. So I'm glad to see all of the youth sports and everything going on the way that they used to a couple of years ago. So hopefully we continue to make progress and move through all this. We've had, I may have mentioned this last meeting, but we were really struggling with our seasonal employees. And Michael was able to organize a job fair with Jen, and we ended up having about 65 kids show up. We were interviewing them, talking to them about jobs, testing them, and hiring them on the spot. So it worked out really well for us. So I think it's something we're going to try to do each year. But I just want to thank those that all participated and those that came out, because it really helped us fill a lot of those gaps that we needed to really get the pool open and do a lot of things that we're doing now with our camp and everything. So really positive event. The e-waste event was a great event. We had a great turnout for it. Like I think Chuck said, about 230 plus cars come through. I brought a whole carload full of stuff. So I think I had 3 hard drives that had to get removed and destroyed, and it was neat. I mean, when we reached out to Ben at E-Waste, we'd heard about the Hudson event, and he got back to us and said, yeah, we'd love to do it. And it was pretty short notice, but we got it all organized, and it turned out to be great. A couple of things that we're working on around town. We've got 2 signalized crosswalks coming in on Liberty Road. One's where Neely goes into Liberty Park, and then the other is going to be at Post Road, where it goes into the Nature Center property. So our guys are out there working on that. So if you see construction, but that will be a push button type signal that would alert cars to stop for pedestrians. So we've been working on that for a while. I know council's been pushing for that, so we're anxious to get that up and running as quick as we can. I just want to talk a little bit. I know I appreciate Sam's frustrations with waste management. We've all been kind of dealing with it, and whether it's one resident or it's a whole section of town. It's frustrating when I get all the calls, and Sam's been getting calls. So I know he gets them from Ward 1. I get them from around the city, and we've had a really good relationship with waste management over the years. They've done, I think, a really exceptional job for the city as a whole. There are times that we've had our frustrations and things have been challenging when trucks break down, or this year they are dealing with, as Sam mentioned, they are dealing with COVID issues. They are trying to keep people safe. I mean, at the end of the day, they're still picking up people's trash and has contact with who knows what, and as they do that. So when we had the resident that Sam referred to contact us, I did reach out immediately to Chris. And a lot of times our service department, I don't think people realize, but the trash doesn't get picked up. A lot of times, if we have the capacity to do it, we'll go out and pick up the trash and make sure it's disposed of. I mean, so we do send guys around town when people don't wrap up toilets properly or doesn't wrap a mattress or something like that. So we will do that. But I wanted to give him the kind of the benefit of the doubt, and I have no problem bringing him in to discuss, but I wanted to give an opportunity to maybe put something on paper. And he does have a letter prepared for council and for me and service department, talking about some of the issues. The volume that they're seeing right now is extremely up. It's extremely above some of the volume of trash. If you've driven through the neighborhoods and you see the excess stuff that's outside the cans, So what would typically fill up one truck in one day, they're having to make 2 hauls, and sometimes they're running out of time. And then they're dealing also with the same, and this is in the letter that council will get, they're also dealing with the same staffing issues that every business is dealing with out there. You know, they're trying to accommodate vacations, they got long-term drivers, they're filling in gaps with part-time drivers, they're pulling drivers from other cities that don't know the maybe particulars of our route. So I'm not trying to make an excuse for them, but I want to give them the benefit of the doubt so that we can, hopefully make things better in the future, not create an adversarial relationship with our trash company. They've been good to us over the years and have done a great job picking up, 8,000 stops throughout the city. I agree, it's not a village. It's, sometimes smaller contracts are easier to manage. And we always have issues. I mean, every single trash pickup, Chris, you can verify this. We get calls about something that got missed or didn't happen. I was texting with a resident right before this meeting about, grass bags that didn't get picked up. So, typically every Wednesday I'm finding out some information about kind of what happened. We go through this. But we don't ignore it. We stay on top of it. And, and in the past, Waste Management has been pretty responsive with some of their actions following some of the breakdowns that they've had. So we'll continue to work with Waste Management. Again, I know our rep typically comes in once a year just to address, issues and talk with council. I'm happy to set that up. But I wanted to share that because, again, it's a difficult job that they're doing right now, and especially coming out of COVID. So, I guess I just want to give them the benefit of the doubt. And they sent me pictures of like 4 different stops that have just piles of stuff, and only one of the 4 pictures is compliant. They picked up everything, but there are certain ways, and we'll try to get that information out to residents about what's compliant, not compliant on stuff outside the can. So I think that's important. But I appreciate Sam and the work he's doing for his ward, and I agree. It seems that some of the calls we get recently are in Ward 1, but it does happen all over the city. So it just depends on whether the residents reach out to any of us or not. So with that, I'll get off of that subject. This weekend, it's unfortunate I attended 2 funerals. One was for Don Spira. Don Spira was a longtime resident, former police officer. He served on our Civil Service Commission for years and years, but just, one of those guys that we could always count on. He's been battling an illness for a long time, and, Jenny has been taking care of him with help from others for a long period of time. But he passed, and I just wanted to mention him because I appreciate all the things he's done for our community. And then John Curie, who was a lifelong resident of Twinsburg Township and in the Heights, and he's probably one of the founding families that kind of moved up from the south to populate the Heights area. And was just and I put out a Facebook post about this, but it was really such, a calm voice and presence for representing, the township and the Heights area and all that's happened over the years. And I know the services were beautiful and a ton of people attended, and it was just, he'll definitely be missed in that neighborhood. I know he will. So, but he served as trustee for years, and, while we talk about the township and the city is separate, there is a tremendous amount of overlap, and he definitely impacted both communities. And then lastly, I just want to thank Joanne for all her work. As a city, I remember the conversation we had when I was running for mayor, and you talked about running for Ward 3 because I was going to, roll the dice and see if I could get on as mayor. But you've been a great addition to council, and so I just want to thank you, and I do wish you the best of luck in your endeavors down in Florida. I'm a little jealous, but I know you're going to do great down there, and really enjoy it. I've seen the joy in you describing what you're going to be going into, so I'm excited for you. So that's all I have this evening, and we do have some department head reports. So Larry, you want to start? Sure.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Nice to be back here for a change. COVID finally coming to an end, we hope. I wanted to bring everybody up to speed on two areas, the comprehensive plan and CIC. The Comprehensive Plan Committee, we have about a 20-person member committee, and they've endured now 4 meetings, so the Comprehensive Plan working group. So we've had a little bit of fun with them, and I'm sure they're getting a little frustrated with us, but we're going to keep on moving. We actually started this in February. February 20th was the first meeting. We talked about historic trends and land use, population, households, employers, and just various characteristics of the community. On March 10th, we introduced everybody to sustainability, the best practices framework that was developed in California regarding sustainability issues. Then in April, on the 26th, we started talking about the current practices here in the city of Twinsburg, and what sustainability means to the planning effort. On May 27th, we actually kind of continued the discussion of goals and objectives, what's important to the city, what kind of sustainability efforts are practical for us to undertake, which things are aspirational, and we're going to work with that now and try and move things forward with the goal of developing sustainability practices in the comprehensive plan that can be adopted as policies to be carried forward in the future. In future meetings, the next meeting, we're actually going to begin integrating sustainability practices with the central area plan, transportation and bikeway plans, and trying to integrate all those things and improve the quality of life in the community at the same time dealing with sustainability issues. We will also be taking a field trip to some of the important habitat and environmental quality areas around the community. That will happen probably in July or August. So there are a couple of fun things that I think we can do with the committee, and we're looking forward to continuing the effort and looking forward to the final result. There's been some discussion about the CIC tonight. I'd just like to get everybody up to speed on where we're currently at. We've advertised and received statements of interest from potential development partners. As Bill mentioned, we have 2 that we've interviewed, 2 interview candidates, 2 companies. After the first interview, we still had some questions that we needed to have answered, so we submitted to them follow-up questions for additional clarification of some of the concerns that the board had. We'll be making a selection, I'm sure, within the next 30 days. Once a selection is made, we'll work on a development agreement, so everybody's aware of the expectations, both from the development perspective and from the quality of life perspective of what we're trying to achieve. And then once all that's in place, we'll start the detailed planning effort of downtown improvement. It'll be handled in a very transparent and open manner with substantial communication with the public, and we're looking forward to gaining substantial input through whatever media we can utilize, including in-person meetings, news articles, the mayor's publication, monthly publication, Facebook, and through the CIC website. So we're going to try and be as open and apparent and transparent as possible with that. Economic development is continuing to move along. Finally getting back to some in-person visits. Visited with Saffron and Semo Plastics recently. Industrial development remains very strong in the city of Twinsburg. Our vacancy levels are still around 3% for the industrial properties. And we have a couple of new projects that are going to be coming online, and you're familiar with what's happening at the final lot at Cornerstone that you can see is under construction. So things are moving, and look forward to continuing. So thank you. Any questions,
Larry.
I'd be happy to answer them at your convenience.
Thanks, Larry.
Thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
Michael, you want to go?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of council. My first report after being here for 7 months. I'm really excited tonight to share what we have been doing in human resources. So I want to start out with some statistical data that I've put together in regards to our current workforce. We currently have about 166 full-time employees, 94 part-time, 104 seasonal, based on the fair that the mayor talked about a little while ago, which gives us a total of about 364. Out of that, 243 are males, 121 are females. I did find that we have more females working part-time than males. Our average age of full-time staff is 45. Average age of our part-time staff is 36. And we're at about 5% diverse workforce here in the city of Twinsburg. So I said all of that to kind of run into my report this evening. So I want to start out with some training that has been developed since I have started, developed a Twinsburg Training Academy for our employees. We started out with the diversity training, which was called Building a Culture of Respect and Inclusion, which some of our council members did attend. We are going to be moving into the next round of training, which will include how to communicate effectively, the art of managing difficult conversations, the need for affirmations, understanding 5 generations in the workplace, moving from colleague to management, and customer service. What is that? There's a couple of things that we'll be putting together into that Twinsburg Training Academy. Training is not only for our employees, but also for myself as well, as we're moving through some diversity things. I have completed a diversity, equity, and inclusion program training with the University of South Florida, and currently am attending eCornell's diversity and inclusion for HR to obtain a certificate for diversity there. Also reviewing some of our policies, is going through all of our policies that we have here at the city, reviewing them, aligning them to law and HR best practice, also reviewing our current employee handbook. I've done some updates to that. I'm currently in review with the mayor and the law director in regards to those changes, and we'll begin to align those changes with Ordinance 147 once we have the handbook completely reviewed. Finally, look at our employment and recruitment. As the mayor talked, we did increase our seasonal rate to $12. It was something that needed to be done. We were literally losing our seasonal help. We were competing against McDonald's at $15 in 6 months in the iPhone. So we had to make some really significant changes. So I'm very happy that we were able to do that. As the mayor talked about, we had 65 young people show up to the fair on May 25th. 45 of those were actually given opportunities to work with us seasonal, and some are still kind of waiting on a wait list as we comb through to see who passes our drug screens and backgrounds and who's actually going to work the hours that we need them to work. So we have a nice list waiting for that. The final thing I want to talk through is our performance evaluation program that I'm putting together. I'm currently working with our department heads on some competencies for the city and for their individual departments. The performance evaluation program will consist of 4 overall city competencies, 5 departmental specific competencies, and then 3 goals, 2 professional and 1 personal, that each employee will be asked to complete annually in mid-year. So those are some of the things that I've been doing the past 7 months. I look to continue to do some work in HR and kind of get us to some different levels, and just appreciate all of your help and assistance in doing that. And I'm happy to entertain any questions you have.
I have one.
Yes,
I didn't attend your diversity and inclusion training, and you mentioned communication, effectively. Is that another program that's open to council?
Yes, I mean, any
and can you give us the dates?
I have,
Okay.
Well, have not come up with the dates as of yet. I'm just rolling out all of the trainings, and then we will determine what will be face-to-face training and what will be online. So we have the opportunity to put some of our trainings online and allow our employees to actually attend training online and test them on the information that they're being given there. So just determining what's going to be face-to-face and what's going to be online and how that's going to be rolled out. But I'll definitely get those dates to council once I complete that part of the project.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Doing a great job, Michael.
Thank
you.
Really
Thank you.
impressive.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Chief, you want to come up? As Chief is coming up, we were able to swear in a new firefighter tonight. I'm sure he's going to be part of his report, but I want to welcome Corey officially, to the roster there.
Good evening again. For the month of May, the fire department responded to 237 calls for service. That brings us up to a total of 1,279 for the year. That's about 7% ahead of last year's pace. and we had about 25% of our calls were overlapping with other calls. We completed 51 inspections and also worked on 5 different fire investigations. Our personnel completed 122 training sessions, totaling over 630 hours of training. And under points of interest, the weather warning sirens were tested on the 5th. They all functioned properly. There's still a flashing light issue at Cannon Road and Liberty, but they functioned properly otherwise. With regard to our fleet, we finally got Med 2 back in service after being gone for almost 11 months with that whole process of getting the engine replaced. Ladder 2 is still out of service at this point, but we're getting closer to having it back together. And finally, we got the new engine in service tonight. Again, I want to thank council and the mayor and the citizens of Twinsburg for providing that for us. Ultimately, everything we ask for in that regard is for the citizens to make our service better. And this truck is just a demonstration of what we're committed to. And a lot of work went into getting it spec'd to make it sure it met our purposes. And I think it'll continue to serve us well for a long time. So we're just looking forward to actually getting it on the road and using it because there's a lot of features of the truck that's going to make it so much better for operations than some of our aging apparatus. With regard to COVID operations, they're kind of winding down at this point, but we got through this whole thing with only having 4 of our employees test positive for COVID, and 8 employees had spent time away because someone in their household tested positive. So we're really thankful that that was a result for us. We've got a lot of PPE left. Sarah brought all the residuals that came from the county, so if anyone needs masks or gowns, we may be a source for you. Let's see, a couple final items here. I just want to point out that Assistant Chief Basso on May 23rd, which was a Sunday, was the keynote speaker for the nationwide CertCon 2021. So it was an online program just discussing CERT operations across the United States, and he was the speaker for that. It was the conference was based out of Fairfax, but he did the presentation from his office here in Twinsburg, and we're just really thankful that Steve took on that endeavor in the first place, and he's just excelling with it. And we also want to acknowledge our CERT members. Beyond helping us monthly with our siren tests, they actually go out and watch the function to make sure everything's working right, and also work with our other public events. And we actually farmed them out to Coventry Township on May 22nd as they needed help for a 5K that they hosted down there. So our CERT group is very active and very dependable and a real asset to the city. And finally, hydrant flushing is underway in the city. So please be aware of that. Be careful as you're passing our crews when they're out there at the edge of the street doing the work. And if the flushing stirs up the sediment in the system and it comes out in your faucets, just allow it to run for a little while until it runs clear. And that should take care of it in most cases. There's about 1,900 hydrants in the city and the township that we address each year, and the number's growing. They're popping up all over the place. So it keeps our guys busy, but the process also keeps us in the neighborhoods with the opportunity to just see how the different neighborhoods are developing and changing and evolving. So just be aware that that continues on until we're finished, and appreciate your attention. Any questions?
I do.
Yes.
I want to commend everyone that works hard on specking out the new fire truck, because I know that was a big project and you had a lot of people working on it, so you did a great job and it's a great vehicle. And I did have a question on, you said 25% of the calls were overlapping.
Yes.
How does that relate to other months? Is that unusual? Is that low?
We've been running around the 30% overlapping, so that was actually a little bit lower than normal.
Oh, that's good. Thank you.
So, and I'm sorry, Corey Hayden, again, we swore him in tonight as a full-time member. And again, that's because Captain Simon is retiring. He's got 2 more shifts to work for us, and he's done on June 13th. 37 years of service to the city and a resident of the city. So he was one of the original full-time members, the first 3 that were hired back in '86, I believe. And he's just been a real asset and a passionate servant of the fire department in the city. So I just want to thank him for his service and congratulate him on a great career and wish him well in his retirement.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris, you want to go?
Good evening, Council.
The-
The Service Department is in full swing with summer operations, thanks in large part to the job fair. We got most of our seasonal employees through that source, so we're out there cutting grass and trimming and cleaning parks up and doing all those good things. So that really helped us out quite a bit. In addition, we have been able to get into some road maintenance. We cleaned approximately 153 feet of ditch line along Liberty Road, and also cleaning a bunch of berms and ditches out. So getting kind of caught up, trying to catch up from last year. The mayor mentioned the Liberty Road lighting system. That is pretty much installed. One of the sites is fully functional. The second one, we're probably going to have functional by the end of tomorrow, but the department asked me to commit to Friday, so just in case. But it went really well, so that should go into full operation, and we'll see how it enhances safety. Branch chipping, we completed the May round. 649 homes were serviced. We're currently in the middle of the June round, and I wanted to mention that the July round will start on Tuesday, July 6th. Tuesday's unusual. We always start on Mondays, but we consider, since Monday is our observed holiday, we consider that's the day that we started. So we still say we started on Monday, but we weren't there. So that will start on July the 6th. Another program we weren't able to do last year was crack sealing. They're working up on Post Road right now, and they've done 7 other streets, and that program's going pretty well. It's obviously pretty weather dependent. Hot weather shuts us down, so it's kind of an on again, off again thing. So street sweeping, we're in the middle of our first round. First round usually takes us probably the most amount of time, because coming out of winter, you have a lot of debris. That is going well. We completed a river run. The service department cleared 2 major tree dams along the creek and removed a bunch of miscellaneous debris. So Tinker's Creek at this point is clear. And we will go back in there in the fall and just give it another check. So got that going. The guys rebuilt the VIP deck up at the amphitheater, project that we've been looking at for a while for Jen, and came out really well. They're pretty happy with that. And just a lot of other miscellaneous cleaning and repairing in the parks and cleanup. That's
Do you know which section of the creek they removed those?
Specifically the jams, I don't know. I could find out for you.
So you said the branch chipping is done for this month?
No, they're in the middle of it for
In the
June.
middle of it. No, I have a question. When they have a certain route that they go, right?
Yes.
When they go in July, do they reverse that route or they continue
No,
this circle?
just-
So if
they're
you're last both times,
Yeah,
right?
they start over. 'Cause
Okay.
Each month they complete the round. They
Okay.
go from start to finish, so then they start over. So,
Okay.
and the one thing with that is, a lot of the residents become very familiar. They know that it starts on that first Monday, and they know generally, they get theirs picked up within the first couple days, so we try to stay as consistent with that as possible.
Okay.
A lot of familiarity with that. And
Yeah.
people, they don't want to put them out too soon,
Yeah.
but they figure
That's
it out.
what we did.
They
We put 'em
probably
out
figure
too
better
soon,
than
yeah.
we did, so.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Just a quick note, Chris, not to pile on, no pun intended, Mr. Scaffidi's garbage discussion. I did get a notice tonight, a resident on Ezra had their trash missed. It was 10008 Ezra.
We'll check it out.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Okay.
Amy?
Good evening, council. I know I don't normally do a report, but we're in the middle of construction and we got some road closures and things that are coming up that I thought would be pertinent. The road program is going really well. We're about complete with a lot of the major work. We have some resurfacing on a few roads that have partially been complete. The big things coming up is on June 14th, we partnered with the railroad to do some railroad track fixes. So on June 14th on State Road 82, there'll be a closure. There'll be a 1-week closure. A railroad will come in, repair the tracks, and then our paver from the road program will come in Friday, Saturday, get it paved out.
That's on Cannon?
The first one's at 82. The second
Okay.
one is on Cannon. On June 14th, State Road 82, and then June 21st is on Cannon.
Thank you.
Maybe both sides will be closed at the same time.
They'll close the whole road, yes. So they're actually going to raise the track, fix the track, replace a section of the track in there. So they'll be missing asphalt and everything else. They run a vehicle to test it, and they'll give us the all clear, and then our pavers lined up to come in after that. The delineators may be a little bit delayed behind that, so there might be some horn blowing once the track's open if the delineators aren't up yet. But they'll follow in pretty quickly behind getting those installed as well. They may be immediate, they may be a week behind on that. But the other thing is, in the road program, we have a structure at Timothy Hawkins that will be replaced. It's a manhole structure. It's part of that large system, so it's real large pipes. It's going to be a real large manhole chamber. I'm anticipating that to actually occur sometime in July. I don't have a start date on that, but that will be a little bit of an inconvenience for those residents. They'll be working around and being shuffled around, and we may even have to divert them off into the tree lawn a little bit so we can keep Hawkins open.
Are you going to notify the residents?
Yeah, they'll be notified once I have a date on that one. And then the other thing to look out for is the first week in July, there'll be some catch basins on 91 and 82, those major traffic areas. We look at probably police support out there when we're doing those. So those are the major things that will cause some interference with traffic. Road striping is anticipated to start in about 3 to 4 weeks. So beware of the cones on the lines, means it's wet paint, so hopefully the traveling public will stay off of it. We always get somebody that tracks through it. But they do put the cones down and they'll pull the cones up when it's dry, so pay attention to that as that goes on. So those are the major traffic things. Just wanted to update that. I will give you an update on where we plan to plant the trees this year. So you should get that within the next couple weeks. So I want to go out to bid in July, and I just want to make sure if you've got an issue in your ward, you can tell me, hey, you missed this, and we can add it to it before we go out to bid. And that would be a fall and a spring planting. So want to get it awarded when you come back in August. And then the final thing I have, I've been talking to you guys a little bit at NPDS Phase 2, updated permit. We are looking at this point, and I just want concurrence for the mayor, because we're looking at putting in a stormwater management program independent of the counties. Right now we're with 26 other communities on a joint permit. The The county is basically saying, oh, you can stay on a joint permit, but in order to stay on a joint permit, we're gonna require you to join our stormwater district. And that stormwater district has a stormwater utility fee associated with it. That utility fee would be $4 per month per resident on a normal house, and $4 per month per 3,000 square feet of impervious area for your apartments, your commercial property, your industrial property. So doesn't mean that we'll never necessarily partner, but this time we're gonna go our separate ways, I believe, based on previous discussions I brought before you, put that application in by July 1st, and we'll be on a separate permit. With that, we'll be updating our stormwater management plan. The original stormwater management plan, I think it was 2003, Environmental Commission helped us with that. We did not adopt our formal ones. We provided that to the county as their model when they were developing, and then we joined in with the county. So we're going to start with the county's base one we have, but we'll be updating it and modifying that, and we'll need adoption of that, and that will be due to EPA by they adjusted it to April 1st when our report goes in for the annual reporting. So my goal is to have that to you before the end of the year, so there can be some discussion. Adoption.
Okay.
Thank you,
Amy, Amy, I have a question. I'm not sure, this might be for Chris. The tree lawn trees, are those responsibility, there's the responsibility of the city if a resident and they feel, I think they've gotten word that their tree lawn tree has a disease on it? Are we handling that, or?
We do tree lawn trees, we plant the tree, we actually, from the developers, we collect money from the new developments. And we do the planting, because we put a maintenance bond on it for a couple of years, and then we'll go back. So we're reviewing right now what needs to be removed, but if there's somebody that, you know, in particular, if you can send me an address.
Okay.
We do try and look at the whole city. One year I did this with one of my guys driving me, and it's not as easy. I feel a little bit more like, okay, I understand why we miss a tree here and there. You get a major headache as you go through the city trying to write it all down and cover it all. So if somebody has a concern about their tree, if they can send us any email and the address, we'll check it out.
Okay, thank you. And the other thing was the branches. They're hanging over the sidewalk. Chris, is that, do we send notice that people riding their bikes, some of those are way, I'm nervous we're gonna have some injuries. You trim the tree lawn trees, but if it's on the person's property, it's their responsibility. And do we notify them if they're, there's huge branches over the sidewalk?
I guess if we got a complaint, building department could do that. Typically, it's a home association type issue that would respond to residents. So.
You have the address?
Yeah.
Just give it to me.
Okay. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you.
All right. And Sarah?
Good evening, Council. Over in Finance, we are working on finishing up the close of the May books, and we'll have those out online as soon as they're available. On the COVID relief funds, we talked about the part 1 of the uses of the American Rescue Plan Act monies, and we'll do part 2 of that in the fall, the other 2 sort of buckets of uses that for those funds. And we should have some details back from the state at that point about what we do to get those funds in the bank. We had Finance Committee tonight, which you guys already reported on. Thank you there. We're still working on that electronic sewer billing so that folks can get their sewer bills emailed to them and pay online and everything, should they so choose. We're hoping to roll that out in full force in the fall, and there'll be a marketing program that goes along with that, inserts in everybody's bills and everything when we're ready. We did complete the gap conversion for our financials, and that was uploaded to the state's Hinkle system last week. At this point, they do the financial health indicators. So I think we'll probably have those later this month out, and we'll put those out on our website just like we usually do. The auditors will be on site next week, so I thank my fellow department heads and the mayor for providing the information to get to those folks next week. And then over the summer, we're going to start work on our 2022 appropriations. So we've got that going on this month. That takes a lot of time and effort, again, with the department heads and the mayor. We appreciate all their help getting us through that budget process. Over on the IT side, they're still working on the potential update for council chambers with that training software, I guess, and hardware that we might use here in this room, and we'll probably talk about that again maybe in the fall. They did submit that leads audit for over in the police department. We're still working on that facility security systems review. We've been over at Parks and Rec setting up all the technology needs that they have for Rock the Park and the water park. And we completed the cybersecurity training last month. So we're doing good. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all we have this evening.
Okay, moving on to legislation, ordinance 44, 2021.
An ordinance approving the recodification, editing, and inclusion of certain ordinances and amendments to the charter as part of the various component codes of the codified ordinances of Twinsburg, Ohio.
Okay.
Ordinance 44, 2021 now stands on its second reading. Ordinance 45, 2021.
An ordinance amending section 111.01 of the codified ordinances of the city of Twinsburg regarding the council meeting start time.
Ordinance 45, 2021 now stands on its first reading. Ordinance 46, 2021.
An ordinance adopting the tax budget of the city of Twinsburg, Ohio for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2022, and submitting the same to the county auditor.
Ordinance 46, 2021 now stands on its first reading. Ordinance 47, 2021.
An ordinance amending the current year appropriations for the general revenue account as established in Ordinance 14, 2021, the appropriation ordinance for the city of Twinsburg for the year 2021, and declaring an emergency.
At this time, I would like to make a motion to suspend the rules and place ordinance 47, 2021 on its third and final reading and declare it an emergency. May I have a second?
I'll second. I'll
Mrs.
second,
Stoffer,
yeah.
second. The reason for the emergency is to be able to start the project as soon as possible. Is there any discussion on the emergency? Shannon, please call the roll.
Ms. McPherron?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
The emergency clause passes 7-0. Make a motion to adopt ordinance 47, 2021 as an emergency. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Fury seconds. Is there any further discussion? Shannon, please call the roll.
Ms. McPherron?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Ordinance 47, 2021 passes as an emergency 7-0. Resolution 48, 2021.
A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement pursuant to section 5521.01 of the Ohio Revised Code with Ohio Department of Transportation to allow work on state highways within the city of Twinsburg Corporation limits.
I make a motion to adopt resolution 48, 2021. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Barr seconds. Is there any discussion? Shannon, please call the roll.
Ms. McPherron?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Ordinance 48, 2021 passes 7-0. Moving on to unfinished business, new business, and miscellaneous. I'd like to make a motion to allow alcohol to be served on city property on July 24th for the Johnny Appleseed District of Barber Shopper? Okay, provide that the Parks and Recreation, Police, and Fire have all signed off on the event. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Fury seconds. Is there any discussion? Shannon, please call the roll.
Ms. McPherron?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. I'd like to make a motion that City Council does not oppose the new liquor permit for Twin Rest LLC on Hayden Road, doing business as Tulum Mexican Bar and Grill, and authorize the clerk to submit the form to the Ohio Division of Liquor Control.
I'll second.
Mr. Fury seconds. This is for a new D1, D2, and D3 permit. Any discussion? Shannon, please call the roll.
Ms. McPherron?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Mr. Barr.
You're going to be missed. It's been fun. It's been a privilege, been an honor to serve with you on council. I wish you all the best on your future endeavors. Don't be a stranger. Twinsburg won't be the same without you. I hope I still see your face in shopping carts. Other than that, it's been a real pleasure, and I wish you the best with everything. And hopefully we'll see you at Rock the Park on Friday.
I'll be there.
All right.
Mr. Bellin.
Thank you. It is garage sale season in Twinsburg. This weekend, Friday, June 11th and Saturday, June 12th, it's Ethan's Green. And the combined Meadowwood and Corbett's Farm garage sale will be held on Friday, August 13th and Saturday, August 14th. Ms. McFerrin, it has been a pleasure. Congratulations on your future, on this move. You will be dearly missed. It has been my pleasure to serve with you, and it's been great to get to know you. Congratulations. Nothing further. Thank you.
Mrs. Stucker.
Well, all right, so the same. It's been a real pleasure, and I think you've added so much to this council and to this community. So thank you very much. And I do want to say that I'm unable to attend the memorial dedication to Mayor Caravan this weekend, but hopefully a lot of people will show up, and it's Saturday, June 12th at 9 a.m. He was a great man, and I'm glad that we're doing something to honor him. And I also want to mention that Mr. Curry, he's a great guy, really a wonderful just history to the city of Twinsburg. I went to school with his son here, so he's been around a long time, but very good people. And that is all I have.
Mr. Fury.
Thank you. On July 16th, the Josh Victorian Memorial Golf Tournament will be held. You can get information from Brian Donato at 216-224-4308. It's a shotgun start at 9 a.m., 9:30, excuse me, and there's 144 golfers. It usually sells out. There is a new event. The Twinsburg Firefighter Local 360 is having their first annual golf tournament at Glen Eagles on August 27th. It's a 9 a.m. shotgun start. You can get information from the Twinsburg Local 360 3630 website, or you can email iafflocal3630@gmail.com. And please support our police and fire golf outings. I did attend Don Spear's funeral this weekend. Don was again on our public service board for over 12 years, civil service board for 12 years, and his wife Jenny's been very involved with the city and homeowners associations, and very sorry to see him go, but really struggled the last few years, and I wish the family the best. Got to talk to the children, and again, outstanding individual, and wish Jenny the best. I would also like to congratulate Captain Don Simon. He's been here forever, and I had an opportunity to talk to him tonight. I wish him the best in his retirement. He has no plans to move at this time, so he's going to continue to be a resident. But 37 years from a volunteer to full time, it's just outstanding. And Joanne, congratulations. I can't do the shopping cart joke because it's already been taken. So I was there, but I've got to know you really well over the last several years, and I thank you very much for all you've done for our council, and I look forward to staying in touch with you, and I hope you can sell me something in Florida someday. Thank you.
Mrs. Walker.
Take this thing off. There's a saying that if you can be anything, be kind. And I just want to say how gracious and kind you were to me, Joanne, many years ago when you gave me this, it was a resident certificate, and it just meant the world to me. And I I just happened to look at it about a couple weeks ago, and I thought about you, and then we talked about some things, and now you're leaving, so I have to read that certificate again about how you felt about me and the kindness that you had towards me, which is so special to me. And I appreciate you being on council. We have become closer. You are a great, kind friend, and I just want to say God bless you and keep you. Continue to be kind and just be who you are, Joanne, and that's kind. Thank you.
And I had something nice to say about it.
Well, be kind. Be kind.
Okay.
Do I get a chance?
You get your
All right.
name's on, yeah.
I don't want to end this on a negative note, and I'm going to try not to, but I do have to make one little comment about a subject earlier. Mayor, I appreciate your compassion for waste management and what their concerns are and what their problems are. But you know what? Our city has the same problems and situations, and I think that we need to ensure we've had a great relationship because, in my opinion, we've allowed them to continue on the way that they continue. It hasn't always been bad, and I said that earlier, and it's not citywide, maybe, okay? But we need to ask for a better level of service. That's all I'm asking. I worked for Waste Management for 10 years in their sales division. I know that company. I know the operational side of it, but I also know the PR side of it. And I just don't see Twinsburg getting the level of PR service that we should be getting from them. Typically, there's a route supervisor that goes around these routes while the trash is being collected. I've never seen a route supervisor in our city, never seen them in my ward or on my street or anywhere. So that's all I'm saying. I understand. It's not that I'm not compassionate or understand that they have problems. Everybody has operational problems. It's how they work on them and how they deal with them that's important to me. And I think that they need to step it up there. So I appreciate your compassion for them. Joanne McFerrin. Well, you know what, Joanne, we've come a long way from the days when you and I sat on a recreation committee that Kathy Prokop appointed us to. And, that's when I first got to know you. And we kind of drifted again, but then we came back together again. And, you have been, and as I said earlier, you've been a great addition to this council. I've been here, quite a while, and we've seen quite a few people come and go. And you've really been one of those people that I hate to see go. I truly do. You're going to be missed. And you're more than just a council person or a colleague. You've been nice. Hello.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you. Mary.
I'm not going to talk about waste management again, so.
Thank you, Jesus.
I do want to congratulate Don Simon, 37 years. It's a long time to serve in one position with the municipality. So he's done a great level of experience over at that department over these years, and I've seen a lot of people come and go. So he will be missed. And then, I know Maureen mentioned it, so this Saturday, we are dedicating a memorial to Mayor Caravan up at Liberty Park. So we created a kind of garden area with some of the old historic index stone, foundation stones. We had Mr. Murderata donate the bronze plaque that's going on there. The family's coming up from Florida. It's going to be at 9:30 in the morning on Saturday. I ask everyone to attend. I've coordinated it all with TBL, so it'll be a full day of kids and baseball going on. They start at 10 o'clock. We're going to do it right before the games kick off. So I think he would truly appreciate, his vision for those particular parks and those fields to dedicate it, and then all of them be filled with kids playing baseball. So I encourage everyone to come out. And then just lastly, Joanne and I kind of said a lot of comments, but I know we'll be in touch, and I know we'll talk a lot. And, by the looks of this room, hopefully you have a couple of guest rooms for people to come down and see us. So, but no, you will be missed. You live a few houses down from me, and I've just enjoyed the time that we got to know each other.
Well, thank you.
One joke we didn't put out there is we were talking earlier, we want to can that laugh. because we need to have that at our council meetings every once in a while. Just
I have it on my phone.
throw it out there. You know, we want that laugh before she leaves.
Mr. Maestro.
Thank you. Just real quick, I just want to again thank Don Simon for 37 years. I mean, Don was on the other side of the captain's contracts with me for years. True professional. I was talking to him tonight. Chief, his last tour is on a Sunday and on his birthday, and I guarantee he'll be working it. He won't miss anything. So again, thanks Don for 37 years. And Joanne, I just want to say thanks on behalf of the department head, since I get the microphone. We do appreciate your questions. You know, you asked a lot of questions, and we were more than happy to answer them because you genuinely wanted to know what we did. And we appreciate that. We appreciate that you supported us. And, you know, personally, I appreciate the phone calls you'd give me just thanking me for little things. You know, it means a lot. So good luck, and I'm sure we'll see you around.
Shannon.
Just wanted to say congratulations. I know you'll do great in Florida, but we will miss you here. I'll miss you having you as council president.
So I just want to say that I appreciate all the kind words and the best wishes, well wishes. And I know that sometimes you call my perspective fresh, and other times you're probably rolling your eyes thinking, oh no, what is she going to say now? So, but I appreciate working with all of you, and I love the city, and thank you. That's it. And so, we don't have any absent members to excuse, and at this time, I'd like to make a motion to enter into an executive session to discuss matters pursuant of Ohio Revised Code 121.22.1 personnel. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Dillon, second. Shannon, please follow.
Ms. McFerrin?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Scafidi?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
And at this time, the gavel goes. Mr. Scafidi.
Not yet.
Oh, wait till after.
You got till next week.
Oh, next week I'll give it to you. Okay.